Namaste. Today's video is about Padmasana or the lotus posture. The techniques that you should keep in mind to ensure that the knees are protected while practicing Padmasana. Padmasana is a meditative posture which is utilized for many practices such as pranayama, meditation, and also while practicing many of the asanas. It's a very tempting asana. I have seen many students, the first day of their yoga practice itself, they try to fold their legs into lotus posture, which is not recommended because it can injure the knee joint. There are many cartilages inside the knee joint which can get damaged if you suddenly go into Padmasana. So go very slow while practicing Padmasana. So I'll start from a beginner level. So initially there are many people who cannot even sit properly on the ground, who cannot fold the legs itself. Initially when you start sitting on the ground, sit with straight legs first, keeping the back supported so that you're comfortable. The back is straight and the legs are straight. Once you feel you're able to sit properly with straight legs, you can try sitting without back support. It's not very comfortable to sit with straight legs, keeping the back straight. So gradually now we have to go into Sukhasana. That's the next level, where we have to sit cross-legged. So many people, when they start crossing the legs, it will be somewhat like this. They will not be able to cross the legs properly itself. So in that situation, what you have to do is take two pillows or bolsters, which should be used to support the thighs. Now when I keep these pillows or bolsters below the thigh, now it's easy for me to sit with crossed legs, keeping the back straight. After a few weeks or months of sitting with crossed legs, with the pillows or bolsters, I remove them and support my thighs with bricks. So it is little thinner than the bolsters. We can also use thinner pillows. So sitting with cross-legged position is called Sukhasana or easy sitting posture. So now the depth of my thighs have increased. Gradually I am able to be comfortable in this Sukhasana position. After a few weeks of Sukhasana with support of the bricks, gradually I remove the bricks. So once I remove the bricks, gradually the depth of the Sukhasana is increased, and now I am comfortable here. Now in Sukhasana itself, you can change the position of the leg. So here you can see the right leg is below the left thigh. So instead of this, I can change. I keep the other way. Keep the left leg below the right thigh. Sukhasana. You can see this knee is up now and this knee is down, which changes the position of the leg. So sit in this position also. So when you continuously sit every day in these positions, the flexibility of the knees will improve. After we are comfortable sitting in Sukhasana without the bricks. So that is called easy sitting posture. Now we must go into the next step, which is called Ardha Padmasana or Siddhasana, keeping one leg in the lotus posture. We must understand what type of joint comes on the knee and what type comes on the hip joint. So if you see, I bend the knee. Knee joint is a pivot joint. So the knee has movement only in one plane, this joint. It has got very limited twisting capability, very limited. Whereas the hip joint is a ball and socket joint. So it can move in all the directions. It can move this way, it can move up, it can move down. So it is a joint which can rotate in all the directions. Whereas the knee joint can move only in one plane. It has got very limited capability to twist. And when it twists, there are a lot of cartilages inside the knee joint which will stretch. So you have to be very careful while twisting the knee. So when I start doing Ardha Padmasana or half lotus posture, I first bend the knee in that direction. I am not rotating the knee here. I am not twisting the knee here. Now, once this knee is bent, keeping this joint secured, I rotate the hip joint. So pelvic joint goes here. Now I rotate the hip joint. You can see there is not much of twist happening on the knee. Using that rotation, I try to keep the feet on the other thigh. You can see there is not much of rotation here because I started from here. I bend the knee, secured this knee joint, then utilize the rotational capability of the hip joint to bring this leg up on the other thigh. Now, yes, there will be some element of twist on the knee, but very minimal. I have utilized more of the rotation of the hip joint compared to twisting of the knee. So this is very important to note, how to bring the leg into the lotus. So don't try like this, from here directly bend and twisting the knee, keep it. So if you do that, the knee joint may damage. Especially the meniscus. There are two meniscus, C-shaped cartilages. Inner side is the medial meniscus and the outer side is the lateral meniscus. So when you directly twist the knee like this and then bring it to this leg, it will put too much of strain on this meniscus. And then keep the other leg below the first thigh. Now you can see I am keeping one leg Padmasana. This is also called as Siddhasana. So you can see there is a support of this feet below this knee. If you want, you can keep a brick like this as well, so that you don't feel much difficulty. Now I've got fairly good comfort sitting like this. Continue this posture for a few weeks. So the flexibility of the hip joint, knee joint on the right leg will come after continuously practicing this. Then after a few weeks, what you have to do, change the leg and sit in this position for a few weeks or a few months also. Once you feel you are able to sit comfortably with the bricks, remove the bricks and come to Siddhasana. Using the same principle which I told earlier, first bend the knee joint, then rotate the hip joint, minimum rotation or twisting on the knee joint. Try to keep the thigh as much as possible down. Then similarly bend the other knee joint, not much of rotation on the knee or not much of twisting on the knee, and gradually try to keep that leg also on the other thigh. You don't have to pull it too much inside in the beginning, just gently keep it so that there is no pain or difficulty felt on the knees. Don't force your legs into Padmasana. It can cause tearing of the meniscus inside the knee. So you have to be very, very careful while practicing Padmasana. Minimum twisting on the knee. Maximum utilization of the rotational capability of the hip joint, which is a ball and socket joint. So gradually you will be comfortable with a few months or sometimes a few years also to go into Padmasana. You should also keep the other leg first in Padmasana. So folding the knee joint first, then rotating the hip joint. Keep the first leg on the other thigh and then similarly bend the other knee joint with minimum twisting of the knee. Try to keep it on the first thigh. Once you feel the flexibility is good and there is no pain, there is no discomfort, increase the depth of your Padmasana and the cross-legged position. And it may take a few months or years to learn Padmasana. I have students who took about 5 years to learn Padmasana. And there are some students who learn this within a few weeks. It all depends on the flexibility of your joints and the mobility. So, as I said, please don't do Padmasana suddenly. Go gradually. Similarly, when you unlock Padmasana also, don't suddenly unlock the Padmasana. First, remove the first leg, secure this joint, don't directly open it, and then slowly unlock that knee. Similarly, when you unlock this leg, don't directly unlock it in front. First, rotate the hip joint, keeping the knee joint secured like this, and then release the knee forward. So this most important principle should be borne in mind. Let me recap. The most important principle of this video is bending the knee joint and rotating the hip joint. While coming back also, rotate the hip joint and release the knee joint. So don't mix these two movements in one shot like this. If you do this, you can get an injury. If you practice Padmasana keeping this very important principle in your mind, there are very less chances of getting an injury. Namaste.